Hey guys, thanks for joining me this week on For All Things Lexington. It's the only show dedicated to Lexington, South Carolina. Here, you'll hear me talk to people, groups, bands, and organizations about where to go, what to do, and who's who in and all around our beautiful Lake Murray. I'm your host, Angela Barrett, and this is For All Things Lexington.
This episode of For All Things Lexington has been brought to you in part by Midlands Crafters Association, gathering all of the best local artisans, crafters, and vendors from the Midlands to benefit charities all across South Carolina.
Hey, Jamie, thanks so much for being here with me today.
Thank you for having it.
Yeah. So, Midlands Crafters Association. Tell me exactly what that is.
So the Midlands Crafters Association was built in 2001 as a way of assembling all the local crafters together so that we can put on events for our community. At that time, we didn't have a craft show every weekend like we have now. But we've all come together. We have a tight-knit group of people, and we help our community by doing these local craft shows that are also fundraisers for Prisma Health and Harvest Hope Food Bank.
Nice. Now, I do know y'all partner a lot with the State Farmers Market, right?
We do. That is our host event venue.
Yeah. Great place to do that, by the way. I didn't even know there was such a thing and I asked somebody else this morning that I saw as I was setting up. I said, did you know there was such thing as a Midlands Crafters Association? And he was like, absolutely not.
Right.
I'm like, you learn something every day. And so you said it's been around since about 2001.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you're the lead event coordinator.
Correct. I put on all three events that we host every year. We host one in the spring, the fall, and Christmas. And this past weekend, we just had our fall event.
Right. And some good vendors out there too.
And
Now, let me ask you this. You said every weekend though. So do you have smaller events?
no, we host just three large events with the crafters.
Oh, okay. So I'm misunderstood.
They're a big undertaking to get them all together. When we have about 170 vendors that turn out.
Wow. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So that was going to be my next question. Well, let me ask this first. So the purpose of the Midlands Crafters Association, one, to organize these big events and help local businesses, not just here in the Midlands, but they come from other places.
They do.
And to raise money. And so it's a twofold. It's a nonprofit.
We are not considered a complete nonprofit, no.
Yeah, that's a lot of paperwork.
A little bit of a red tape, but
yeah, a lot of loopholes to jump through. So let's talk about how long it takes to prepare. We'll ask that question. One event, how long does it take you? What's the length of time?
To prepare for the event, we start preparing for our fall and Christmas events starting around March, and then they come in September and November. So you're looking at six months or more to even pull off these events.
Okay, so now let's talk about the details that go into that. Where do you start?
I mean, it's just planning. A lot of events are thrown together, because people think, oh, I can just put on an event. But there's so much that goes into it. You have to be extremely detail oriented. We don't like to put crafters together that sell the same items because it doesn't do anything for your show, or for that person, to have competition right next to them. You don't want to put McDonald's on one corner and McDonald's on another corner kind of thing. So you have all that, and then you just have to keep everybody organized. Spreadsheets, Excel spreadsheets. Oh my goodness, I've gotten so good at Excel.
Good, I'll call you because I stink at Excel.
Right.
At Excel.
Yeah.
But I mean, so I really think, and you start with a date.
Yeah.
And then how do you get the word out to the vendors that this is going to be?
So technology is always a double-sided sword. It's great for getting our information out to our vendors, but sometimes it doesn't always get out there. But I can't imagine the times where they used to plan events where they had to snail mail everything. So I'm very thankful for technology. We get a lot of information out through email to our vendors.
Right. And then at that point, is it just waiting to see how many vendors before the
It is a jury process. So the applications come in a time frame, and so they have like a month and a half to get all the information to us, and they have to submit pictures, and they submit their application. Our jury sits down and they look at them, and then they compare and contrast to get the best for our show. And then once that's done, once the jury decisions are done, then it's up to me to finalize the puzzle, get everybody in place, and notify and let them know, hey, that's spot. And then the day of the event is just, trying to get everybody organized in their spaces and, get them parked where they're supposed to get parked. And then once we get all that done, it's smooth running from there.
So tell me about the jury process.
Yes.
So that, how many people are on that?
Well, we have 3 people on our jury, and so they, like I said, they look at your pictures. They want to see what type of setup that you have. What does your product look like? And those are basically the 2 main things. We also want to see pictures of you making your product, because our show is 90% handmade. So we only have 10% that is not handmade. And those are our local small businesses, mostly people that have been with us since we've been at the middle school here in Lexington. Because we just, in 2020, branched out to the farmers market. So our roots are here in Lakewood in 2020.
Oh, okay. Yes.
With COVID. Yeah, we had to move from the middle school to from a closed environment to an open environment to be safer for everyone.
Right. But now a lot of that out there is covered.
It's covered, yes, but it's still an open air.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So 2020, my next question on there was, how long had you been at the State Farmers Market? But 2020, yeah. Now, your next event, is the big Christmas.
Yeah, it's our Christmas one. Yeah.
Yeah, November 2nd and 3rd at the State Farmers Market.
Yeah.
So, what you still got left to do on that one?
Well, right now we've gone through most of our motions. We have all of our vendors in place. It's just about marketing and getting the words. What's that? Just getting the motion, putting all their spreadsheet, everything done, and all the vendors in place. So now we just have to market. So I'm out in the public, going to different events, trying to get the word to our vendors that are already signed up. So I'll have flyers for them to distribute. I come on great shows like this to people who like to help us spread the word.
Yeah.
And we put up, flyers in local businesses. And then we just try to spread the word as much as we can through social media.
Right.
And different newspapers and billboards.
And all of that advertisement takes money.
Oh yeah.
How's that funded?
Through the whole press, the show itself.
Yes, and things like that. Because billboards are not cheap.
Yeah.
Even when they give you a little discount, everything helps. But so now, what's your craft? How did you get in there?
So back when there was not any craft shows, and I thought, we need to do this so that we can get more events out in the public. At that time, I made hair bows, and little girl hair bows, little flip flops, necklaces, things like that. I make them on occasion now, but I don't make them as a hobby or a business. And then I also do photography on the side, which I still do photography on the side, but not as much as I need to.
Yes. I play around. I always say amateur. I start with that. I did do photography back when it was filmed. It's an indication of the age. And that was so much more fun than the digital. But I am beginning to play around with it a little bit more now. So do y'all have any photographer vendor?
We've had on occasion, we've had a couple of vendors. Charles Height's one that's, he's one of our favorites. He's a local photographer. You can usually find him at Soda City now. But he's just gotten up in age where he can't do as many shows.
Yeah.
So, but he was always one that we had, when we were at the middle school especially. But recently, I think we do have one that was at the last event. And, I'm not sure if we have any coming up or not, but yeah, they filter in on occasion.
Right. I always feel like when people are talking about arts, I talked with the mayor of Columbia the other day, and he's got that big, Columbia Streams art project. And, there's painters and there's this. And I'm like, what about the photographers? I feel like we're like redheads. Who's your favorite photographer ever? Mine's David Ballum.
And Yeti. With the baby.
Yeah, that is a good one. Yeah, David Bellum is a photographer. Most of his work is South Africa, and it's like a story came in life in one snap.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, I think you do that. So you've got how many vendors for November?
We have 160.
Wow. And now there's a guy from Greenville that does the wine, that does the story behind it. Is he coming back?
Yes, Elwood Wine will be there.
Yeah.
Dr. Fox. And he will tell you all about his story. So you definitely got to.
Yeah, it is. It's great.
His booth and
Great story.
the story, and he will tell you. But his wine is fantastic.
Yeah.
So he's one of definitely our unique vendors. We have several unique vendors that only do our events. So there's people that you won't find every time you go around to an event in Columbia. We have another lady that makes sand art, beach.
Yes. Wait a minute. I know the name. I wrote it down.
K&T Design.
K&T Design. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Love her. And actually, I have a bracelet of her. I don't have it on.
So she takes the sand from different beaches around South Carolina and other places as well, and she makes jewelry with it. She's also making ornaments, so they make perfect Christmas gifts.
Yes.
Yeah.
And is it Pranara Designs? Now that's
Jeweler.
yeah, that's some unique stuff as well.
Yes, she did. Yes. And she is not signed up for Christmas.
Oh,
She did not. I believe she did not imply that, but
yeah.
we're working on trying to get her.
Shame to watch that.
Hopefully that was the case.
Yeah. Well, whatever the case is. And of course, always, Brim of Fire, which is obviously one of my favorites.
And then she is actually one that you won't find very many places as well.
Right.
So, yes.
Yeah. She's coming on the show, so I'm excited about that. Obviously, I like a good hat, and she's the lady. And I've been dying. She won't give me Lucinda's hat. So whether you need to make me.
So, you'll have a good time talking to me later.
Yeah, absolutely. There was somebody else. Oh, the mailroom. Now they've got some really neat stuff. I know it all, game day related. But it's unique.
Well, that, and then she also did the dog design shirts. And I've not seen those in a lot of like gift shops or anything around town. So that's always something neat that you can find there. And a little other known fact about Maria is that her husband is a framer. And so he brings his framed art. So he had the older bands like the Beatles and the Rolling Stones, and he has like concert posters from them that he framed. He brings.
Pretty neat. Yeah. And tell me about some of the other maybe unique vendors that are there.
So we have Mr. Larry. He's been with us forever. And if anybody is knows about Lexington, they know Mr. Larry, and he makes the wooden turned rolls. And those are a wonderful item for anything, and that's a great gift for everybody. But just the woods that he chooses for these bowls, and they just turn out beautiful in the best shop. We have Miss Mary with her pickles, Miss B's pickle, and so everybody loves Miss B's pickles. You have bread and butter, and then she sells her chow chow, and then spicy stuff. So I'm not a fan of spicy, but a lot of people are sure. And you have to get the pound cake, and it's delicious. And we got I've got so many, it's hard to pick them out.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the ones that maybe we had go to y'all. Not see other places.
So, right. We have Miss Ocker who does the birdhouses.
Oh, yeah.
And so they're wooden birdhouses, but then they incorporate metal items in there as well. So they all have a tin roof, and then they have little metal ornament items that go on the front.
So pretty, very pretty. Only too pretty to actually.
Right. And we have Heart Pine Farms, who does the sourdough bread and butter. And so if you don't get there early, you're old out of luck. Miss Jean is one who only does our events, and she does hand-painted porch sign and things like that. So she has, different characters that you won't find anywhere else. Other than that, I'm trying to, like I said, it's hard to think.
Oh, I know. That's a lot of vendors, but
there's a lot of vendors.
Some of those have been around for a while, and there's a reason they've been around for a while. Of course, now let's talk about the event in itself. It's free.
It is free to attend and free to park. It is pet friendly, so please bring your dogs. We love your dogs. We have a lot of pet vendors, so it's something you can shop some into.
Now, food trucks will be out there.
Yes, we have 7 food trucks on site, usually about 7 food trucks. We have Cousins of Maine Lobster that comes down from Charlotte to visit us. And if you've never had a lobster roll from Cousins of Maine Lobster, you are definitely missing out, and you need to put this on your calendar just to come see them. They'll be there Saturday for the event this time.
Yeah, I'll have to try that. The last time I tried a lobster roll, I was like not a fan. So maybe I tasted the wrong one. So
well, some people serve them hot, some people serve them cold.
Right.
And so I'm not a fan of the cold ones. That's not my out. No, it has to be hot, and it has to be the Maine lobster. So apparently there's some difference, because there's a Connecticut lobster and a Maine lobster.
I'll take your word for it.
So, but they sell the lobster quesadilla as well, and that's what my daughter loves. She loves that. So you might actually be a fan of that. We also have the mobile bar, I believe, that's coming back, that are serving wine, plushies, mimosas, a beer mosa, and of course regular beer as well.
Yeah, nothing like giving women wine and spending money at the same time.
Exactly.
Yeah, makes it go a lot faster that way.
Exactly.
So y'all have the silent auction for the
Harvest Hope Food Bank.
Let's say about that.
So we host a charity each event. In the spring, it's always Prisma Health. In the fall and Christmas, we do Harvest Hope, because we know that there's always there's always a need for food. But, when you're gearing up towards Thanksgiving and Christmas, there's more of a need in the fall. And so we ask all of our vendors to donate an item towards the silent auction, and it's up for the entire show, and people bid on the items. So you're able to bid on a selection of items from our vendors. And then sometimes you get them in a better deal, and sometimes, you get in a bid more, and that might be the only one that they have, and then you have to bid higher to let it slip. But it all goes for a good cause. Also, our vendors themselves bring in canned goods for a donation. So right now, back of my SUV is loaded with canned goods.
So 160 vendors. Where do you that?
Yeah, so we get a pretty good spread.
And so now, are people asked to bring canned goods to the festival, or
that would be a no, because of the fact of where else? Yeah, we would have to rent a U-Haul, because I'm sure that the community would definitely have an outpouring, and that would be a really good fundraiser for her. So we have not organized how we could get them out, or
Yeah. Well, maybe maybe next year make them in charge of coming with
Right.
a truck and everything, throw it in
Yeah,
there.
that would be perfect. Because right now I deliver
Yeah.
what we collect at the event. And of course, we have local beauty queens that come and they do their community service. So they work the silent auction table, the 50-50 raffle or drawing, and they go around and they help as much as they can. So they come and they help with the drop off as well.
Yeah. Well, cool. All right. So November the 2nd and the 3rd at the State Farmers Market. That'll be cool. And so what do you do when this is all over? You go in hibernation?
All right. I'm still in recovery mode from the show this past weekend. But no, I'll start, I'll probably take a week off and then I'll start working on spring.
So that show will be,
It'll be in March.
wow.
Yep. So there's not really a lot of.
Yeah. I was figuring maybe for the rest of the year you would be in hibernation resting.
No, there's not enough time to do that. So it's not as labor intensive, at the end of the year. I try and not make it that way.
Yeah.
Because I want to have time for my family.
Sure, absolutely. That's important. Well, thank you so very much for being here today and telling me about an organization I had no idea about, and an interesting one at that.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me on
Absolutely.
and doing the service for everybody in Lexington.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Hey guys, thanks for hanging out with me today, and I hope you enjoyed the show. If you'd like to be a guest on the show or know someone you'd like to see on the show, contact me at forallthingslexington.com. That's the number 4, allthingslexington.com.
And by Angela Barrett at HomeMattersSC.com. Building on what matters to you.